I recently sat down to play checkers with my 8-year-old daughter. To say she likes winning is like saying fish like water or video bloggers like subscribers. So I wasn't really surprised when I returned from the bathroom to find that the checker pieces had moved slightly in her favour. Okay, where's the integrity? Where's the sense of fair play? But by 8 years old, I'd hoped that she'd be able to cheat without getting caught. So as she stomped upstairs in mock indignation because I'd accused her of cheating, I wondered, how should a middle-aged man play with a competitive child? It doesn't really make sense to play if we're not trying to win. Even if we're playing games for fun, we still have to try, at least a little bit. Otherwise, family game time just becomes sitting next to each other reading from the same book, but then you start to compete about who finishes the page first. 2 of my 3 kids are very competitive and they love playing games. My 3rd one doesn't like playing games, perhaps because she doesn't win often enough. Does this sound like any of your kids? There's a big difference between being competitive and needing to win. Being competitive is loving the fun of the chase. Needing to win is loving the fun of the chase and then catching it and tearing it apart and yelling about it to the rest of the world. Needing to win gets in the way of our kids making friends and playing nicely and extends outside games. Pretty soon, they're going to be competing for class president or for boyfriends or for jobs, and they're not always going to win. While Abby threw a tantrum today because she lost in checkers, tomorrow she could be vying for president. And you don't want her knocking over the board and stomping off stage if she doesn't win. Or even worse, you don't want her cheating to make sure she does win. Can you imagine playing checkers with Trump or Hillary? We need to set a positive example to teach our kids to temper their competitive instincts. Last week I went for a ride with my son and he raced off saying, "Look how fast I'm going, Dad," which only spurred me to overtake him and yell over my shoulder, "Is this fast enough for you, wuss?" It seemed like a clever thing to say at the time, but it doesn't now. With wind racing through my hair and my hands held high in imagined victory, I realised that what I do to my son is what he repeats back to me. And he repeats back to his sisters, and he repeats back to his friends. My son being a pig is one thing. My son being a pig because he's copying me is something that makes me want to change. So here are some tips on how to play with a competitive child that are much easier for me to list than they are to actually follow through on. But I do try. Number 1, stay positive if you lose. Congratulate him on his victory. Say he played well. Tell your wife about his win and make sure he hears, so that he understands that you enjoyed the game even when you didn't win. And number 2, if you do win, say less. The less, the better. Resist the urge, even when he starts off by saying, "Dad, I'm going to kill you in this match." Resist the urge to say, "I'm feeling kind of alive, but you're not looking too well," as your winning pieces fall into place. Number 3, try, but not too hard. I'm not saying let your kid win every time, but make sure they do win sometimes. And finally, don't use dirty tricks. Don't get angry when they have a good roll of the dice. Keep it inside and don't cheat, even if you can get away with it. The truth is, we all like to win, or at least we don't like to lose. I suppose there's never a good prize for losing, but the real prize of playing games is the quality time together and the life lessons that your kids take away with them. And they shouldn't lose those because of a bad winner or loser, especially if the bad winner or loser is a parent. So until next time, when you play games with your kids, win some and lose some, but celebrate the time together so you can enjoy middle age. Hi, I'm Adam, the man behind and in front of The Honestly Middle-Aged Man. As a recent arrival to middle age, I realise my place in the world has changed, and that's what this channel will cover. It'll be quick, painless, and perhaps a little bit funny. It'll be me, being me, helping you, be you. Enjoy middle age.